No one expected that night to be the beginning of something that left the whole world speechless. When BTS' hectic schedule, public spotlight, and industry pressures left almost no room to breathe, not a single person thought that Taehyung would do something spontaneous or maybe reckless. But around 22:56 a.m. Seoul time, a phone call from Taehyung completely changed Jungkook's night direction. According to a staffer who overheard the conversation, Taehyung's voice sounded low, but clearly full of a firmness that was hard to argue with. "Come out with me. Just tonight. I need you." Simple words, yet enough to make Jungkook stand up from the hotel sofa without a second thought. Shortly after, Taehyung appears in the hotel lobby wearing a long black coat, hat, and mask, but is unable to hide his sharp but fragile gaze. When Jungkook exited the elevator and their steps met in the middle of the lobby, they did not greet each other with hugs, applause, or jokes. Only the eye contact is long enough to let anyone who sees it know. It was not an ordinary night. With no bodyguards, no staff, no management car, Taehyung just raised his chin slightly toward the exit, and Jungkook nodded. Decisions are made without words. As soon as they came out of the hotel, the cold of the night immediately ambushed, but the two did not seem to care. The normally glittering Seoul was quiet at the time, and they walked like two people reassembling fragments of their lost selves. Taehyung leads the way, but not too far, always making sure Jungkook stays aside. Jungkook occasionally stole a glance at Taehyung, as if he wanted to read what the man was thinking. But Taehyung just stared straight ahead, as if there was a destination that only he knew. They walked away from the crowds, into small streets that even fans or the media rarely pass by. About 20 minutes later, Taehyung stops at an intersection and looks at Jungkook. No words came out, but Jungkook simply nodded, as if he already knew whatever direction Taehyung chose was something he would follow. They cross the street, take a small turn, then enter a seemingly unfamiliar area, until an old little plank is clearly visible. Big Hit's old practice building. That place hasn't been used in years. Many fans didn't even know the building was still standing. This is where they used to train, cry, fall, be misunderstood, get up, fight, and support each other when the world didn't yet know they would become legends. Without hesitation, Taehyung pushed the old door open. Locked, but he knocked softly on a glass window 3 times in a slow rhythm, an old code that only the 7 of them used during late-night rehearsals. After a few seconds, the door opened. Not the staff, not the coaches, but the smiling old guard of the building recognized them. He didn't say anything, just let them in. That alone was enough to make Jungkook's breath hold as if touched by something very deep. The training room is the same. The large mirror is a little dull. The nameplate is still hanging. The corner of the room still keeps the scuff marks on the trainees' shoes. Only the neon lights on the ceiling light up softly, bringing a silence that cannot be found in any concert stadium. Taehyung walked in first, stood in the middle of the room, and stared at the floor where they used to go all out chasing dreams. Jungkook stood a few steps behind him, waiting. Taehyung finally spoke with an almost trembling voice. "I just missed this place. Missed us before the world took it all." There was no dramatization, no tears shed, yet their silence was more heartbreaking than any cry. Jungkook walked over and stared at their reflection in the mirror. 2 men who once fought for the same dream now stand as the world's greatest superstars. But in that room, they are not legends. They're just 2 humans who want to go back to a time when everything was simple. Taehyung kicks in the air slowly, like starting an old choreography that his body still remembers. Jungkook chuckled, a bitter but warm laugh, and followed the movement. There was no dramatization, no tears shed, yet their silence was more heartbreaking than any cry. Jungkook walked over and stared at their reflection in the mirror. 2 men who once fought for the same dream now stand as the world's greatest superstars. But in that room, they are not legends. They're just 2 humans who want to go back to a time when everything was simple. Taehyung kicks in the air slowly, like starting an old choreography that his body still remembers. Jungkook chuckled, a bitter but warm laugh, and followed the movement. Then, without warning, the old rehearsal music plays from Taehyung's phone. The bass breaks, the beat is rough, but both move as if time is turning back. In O camera. No spectators, no applause. Only the two of them danced until their breath was taken away, until laughter was released, until silence again took over. Lying on the floor of the rehearsal room, staring at the neon ceiling, Jungkook finally said quietly, "Sometimes I Gino camera. No spectators, no applause." Only the two of them danced until their breath was taken away, until laughter was released, until silence again took over. Lying on the floor of the rehearsal room, staring at the neon ceiling, Jungkook finally said quietly, "Sometimes I get tired." Taehyung replied without hesitation, "Me too. That's why I want you here with me." The word is a hug without touch, a confession without tears. Jungkook turned his head to look at Taehyung, and Taehyung let Jungkook turn his head to look at Taehyung, and Taehyung returned the gaze without blinking, allowing himself to look completely fragile only at the right people. After a long silence, Taehyung sat down and let out a long sigh. "If one day we lose everything, this place will still be proof that we ever existed." Jungkook nodded and remained silent for a long time before saying something that made the room seem to stop breathing. "We won't lose anything as long as we still have each other." As soon as the word is said, there is no reply, but everything that needs to be said is already said. They got up slowly and prepared to leave. As he left the building, the old guard only smiled faintly and said, "You are still the same children to me." Taehyung and Jungkook bowed deeply, not as superstars, but as children who owe a debt of gratitude to the place that raised them. Once out into the night air, the world seemed different. Not because they've changed, but because they've been reminded who they are without the spotlight. They walked back in the direction of the hotel, not to avoid cameras or create rumors, but because that night, that trip had already given them the thing that even fame could not give: peace. When approaching the hotel, the two's pace slowed down. Taehyung looked at Jungkook with a small smile that wasn't made up, and Jungkook smiled back with grateful eyes instead of sadness. There is no hug, but the distance between them does not require it. They enter hotels without wanting the world to know where they're going, why they are going, or what they're talking about. But there's one thing any camera can't replay, and only the two of them will always remember. But there's one thing any camera can't replay, and only the two of them will.